that are calling the shots to use the funds of the Department of Homeland Security, and instead of funding FEMA, they're funding ICE. And that's why we still see that the people of Altadena, 1 year after the fires, have not been able to rebuild. And we see shame, and we see the people of Altadena struggling to make ends meet, struggling to rebuild. Meanwhile, the Trump administration sends endless ICE troops into our communities to tear our families apart. But the people of the United States can do better. We can do better, and we have seen people do better. Why? Because in Minnesota, it was the people who stood up as the real counterweight to the Trump administration. It was the people who shut the economy down. It was the people who forced the Trump administration to withdraw 700 ICE agents from the city. That was ordinary working people like you and I, like everyone here today, that stood up, took to the streets, and made their voices heard. So unlike the Democrats and Republicans, those of us in the Peace and Freedom Party, not only do we want you to vote in the midterms, we want you to vote with your feet. Stay in the streets. Continue to build an anti-war movement that is going to be a real counterweight to the Trump administration, a real counterweight to the billionaires. Because in this country, we don't have an Iran problem. We don't have a Venezuela problem. We have a billionaire problem. And we're going to be right here next Saturday, continuing to show our opposition to this senseless war. And we're going to continue to stay in the streets as long as it takes until we have a movement that is in the thousands and in the millions to demand an end to this war. Hands off of Iran! 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 All right, everyone, give it up for our last speaker, Lalo Vargas. And folks, you've heard it explained brilliantly and beautifully today that our struggles are connected, that the struggle for full rights for all immigrants is directly tied to this struggle to stop the war machine, that our struggle for universal health care, for education for all, these are directly tied to the war machine that takes $1 trillion per year from our pockets. Make some noise if you have come out in the fight for immigrant rights at some point. That's right. And like Lalo said, we learned from the struggles of Minnesota that what we need is a mass mobilization. We need a nationwide shutdown to stop the war machine and stop the deportation machine. So I want to invite up an amazing speaker next, someone who has been in the struggle for immigrant rights, someone who has helped build an organization that is fighting back every single day. Up in the Valley, I want to introduce Paul Ramirez from Valley Defensa. Say it once, say it twice. The people will abolish ICE. Say it once, say it twice. The people will abolish ICE. Trump has just launched another war of aggression on the sovereign nation of Iran. Shame! We have seen again and again the violence of this administration to not only attack people abroad, but even attack people right here at home. They started off the year with the attacks on Venezuela, the kidnapping of their president, and over again the murder and kidnapping of our community members here at home. How do we feel about that? It is clear that this system, this administration, this government is committed to violence. Imagine that, the violence of separating our families, kidnapping our community members, denying us health care, denying us a right to vote, denying us education. This is the violence that this how they murdered people like Renee Good. They murdered people like Alex Pretty. That is the violence that these ICE agents unleash on our communities every single day. And even while they're not on the clock, they murder community members like Keith Porter Jr. He was a father in the San Bernardino Valley where I'm from. When they murdered him, a father, shame. And we're not going to stand for it any longer. And that's clear because this administration has proven again and again that they're going to keep unleashing this violence, but we know that the people are going to keep fighting it, resisting it, because we know it's unpopular. Everybody here, do we stand with our immigrant communities? Do we stand against ICE? Do we stand against war? So we have to fight anywhere this war rears its head, whether it's here at home or abroad. We learned the lessons from our friends in Minnesota. They shut it down to get ICE out of their communities. When Trump unleashed thousands of agents into the streets of Minneapolis, the people fought back day in, day out. And even after they murdered community members, were they scared? No! They organized. They organized something we haven't seen in decades. They organized a general strike. They showed us the way. That is the path forward. That is our task ahead of us. If we want to shut down the types of this administration, then we have to shut down our streets, shut down our schools, shut down our workplaces, shut down this economy. That is the power we have as working people. We are the ones that build everything. We're the ones that are teaching our kids in the schools. We're the ones that are paving our streets, cleaning up our streets. We're the ones that are taking care of our sick people, our elderly people in the hospitals. We're the ones that do the work every single day, and at any moment we can decide to end it. That is our power. And then the administration recognized this. They had to make concessions with our movement. They removed Greg Bovino. They retreated hundreds of agents. And then after we shut it down again on January 30th, turned into a national movement, they announced the end of Operation Metro Surge. That is the power of our movement. That we can get together, organize our workplaces, organize our schools, and build a movement to shut it down and show that we are not going to put up with this any longer. So in the same vein, as we fight, not just to end the war in our immigrant communities, we now end and mobilize and shut it down to end this war abroad on Iran. It is clear the effects that the wars have on so many communities, so many countries. People are forced to leave their homes because of war. People don't just immigrate. It's not an easy decision to leave your country, leave everything behind and move to a new country. It takes so much sacrifice, and people do it because bombs are dropped in their community, because jobs are taken from their communities, because the same corporations, the same billionaires, the same companies, they attack our communities everywhere, and they force people to leave their homes. These wars are what create this immigration crisis, so we have to stand against war just as we stand with our immigrant community. How many people here participated in January 30th? How many people are going to commit to doing that once again? That is what it's going to take to end these wars. That's how we fought and won every single right that we have, from an 8-hour workday to the right to form a union to earning our civil rights. It has taken a mass movement, people like us, from all walks of life, to organize and to stay in the streets and shut things down, because they're not going to give these things to us out of the kindness of our hearts. It's going to take us demanding it, staying in the streets, fighting, organizing, and that's how we're going to win. Are we ready to win? So let's stay in the streets. We're not going to let these bombs continue to land in these countries. They explode right here at home too, affecting our families, affecting so many people. We need to commit to fight, and we need to commit to win. Are we ready to win? Are we ready to fight? Are we ready to win? Let's get it! From LA to the Middle East! No justice, no peace! From LA to the Middle East! No justice, no peace! No more blood for oil! Hands off Iran soil! No more blood for oil! Hands off Iran soil! So far, we've had such a powerful list of speakers on this program today, and we have a few more coming. But it is truly so beautiful to look out into this crowd and see the diversity here. Me being Iranian, I know this isn't just about me and Iran. This struggle is connected to all of us working class people here in Los Angeles, here in this country, and around the world. Give it up for yourselves. I'd like to introduce our next speaker on the program, Rami, with the Palestinian Youth Movement. Please give a warm round of applause.
Good afternoon, Los Angeles. My name is Rami. I'm an organizer with the Palestinian Youth Movement, a grassroots transnational organization made up of Palestinian and Arab youth organizing for the liberation of our homeland. I'm here with you today to say, U.S. out of the Middle East, no war with Iran. Just 3 days ago, the United States and Israel launched a massive military offensive against Iran, killing Iranian leadership, including the Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei and his closest advisors, along with hundreds of Iranian civilians, including children, in a joint airstrike over Tehran. Let's be clear, this was not diplomacy. It was an act of war. This attack took place even as Iran signaled openness to diplomatic talks to prevent escalation. It echoes last year's 12-day war and countless other instances where the U.S. and its allies have responded to diplomatic openings with violence. Just like in Venezuela, just like in Palestine, and now in Iran, the United States shows its true face, one of naked violence and militarism. We know from over 2 years of genocide in Gaza that Israel and the U.S.'s goals, what Israel and the U.S.'s goals truly are: imperial domination and the theft of resources, creating a beaten down and oppressed people who cannot resist their barbarity. Israel's strikes have hit deep inside Iran, including a girls' elementary school where over 150 people were reportedly killed. A massacre that reverberates around the world. Shame! Israel and the U.S. are now dragging the entire region into wider war. Israel has expanded its assault beyond Iran, launching strikes deep into Lebanese territory, including its capital of Beirut. Lebanon is once again being turned into a battlefield as Israel broadens its military campaign, engulfing the region in even greater devastation. Shame! Let's be clear. This so-called defensive attack narrative that Israel and the U.S. are claiming ignores reality. It ignores the bodies of school children crushed under the rubble of Israeli missile strikes. It ignores the people in Tehran and other cities who have been killed or wounded in these bombardments. It ignores the suffering of the Palestinian, Yemeni, Lebanese, and Iranian people, and everyone living through violence every day at the hands of the U.S. and Israel. The same forces driving this war are rooted in a long history of denying nations their right to self-determination. The U.S. and its allies speak the language of democracy, yet repeatedly undermine the sovereignty of countries that refuse to submit to their political and economic control. Sanctions, coups, assassinations, military threats, these are tools used to weaken independent states and dictate their futures from afar. Iran, like Palestine, like so many nations before it, is being told that its independence is conditional, that its right to defend itself, to chart its own political path, to control its resources, exists only as long as it aligns with Western interests. That is not democracy. That is imperial domination. And here in Southern California, we the people are beginning to see this clearly. We are recognizing that a government willing to deny sovereignty abroad will also disregard the will of its own people at home. We see the connections between the struggle for self-determination overseas with the fight for justice and accountability right here. What we do abroad boomerangs back to impact us locally. The militarization of our streets, the surveillance and kidnapping of our community members. These are not separate from each other. So our demand today is clear. No war over the Iran. No more assassinations. No more sanctions. No more military bases encircling nations that simply want to determine their own future. No more endless wars carried out in our name. The people of Iran have the right to sovereignty. The people of Palestine have the right to sovereignty. The people of Lebanon, of Yemen, of every nation facing U.S. interference have the right to chart their own political paths without threats, bombs, and economic strangulation. And if our government refuses to respect their sovereignty, then it is up to us, the people living in the center of this empire, to demand an end to these wars and an end to this imperial expansion. U.S. out of the Middle East, no war with Iran, and free Palestine. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Occupation is a crime! Long live Palestine! Occupation is a crime! No war on Iran! No war on Iran! No war on Iran! No war on Iran! That's right, make some noise for our last speaker from the Palestinian Youth Movement. And you have heard it so clearly stated that this is not simply a war on Iran. It has expanded to become a war on Gaza, a war on the entire Middle East. We've seen this war expand where Venezuela was attacked, bombed mercilessly in the middle of the night. This war has a home front in the number of people who are killed by federal agents, by local police. We've seen the murders of Keith Porter Jr., of Renee Nicole Good, of Alex Preddy, of countless people by the same warmongering, corrupt system. They defend mass murder abroad and they defend murder right here at home. And we're going to be the ones to stop it. Is that right? Are you going to commit to keep building that movement? All right. So let's keep the energy high. I want to welcome up our next speaker, Taiba, with Irvine Muslim activists, as well as with Iranians for Palestine. Please welcome Taiba.
Hi, how are you? I don't really have a speech prepared. It was amazing listening to everybody, so I'm just going to speak from my heart. I'm an Iranian Muslim. I came here many years ago. I'm a refugee. I had to walk from my country, from Iran to Turkey, from Turkey to Italy, and from Italy to the United States of America. And so I'm a refugee. I have been displaced. And right now there are people in Iran that are being displaced, that they're being bombed. Whether we agree with the government or not, it is none of our business. It is up to the people of Iran to choose who their government is. This genocidal state that has killed more than 600,000 Palestinians has starved them on a daily basis, women and children that want to come into our country to liberate the women of Iran? No, you don't get to do that. You are hurting the women of Gaza. You are hurting the women of Palestine. You are taking their children away from them on a daily basis. You are killing them. Just the other day, interconnected these struggles are. We can't emphasize it enough. We saw that in the first day of these airstrikes across Iran, one of the places targeted was civilian infrastructure, was an elementary school. And it's just so important to highlight that. Shame. Confirmed over 160 people dead, dozens of which young girls. Shame. And right here in our own backyard, down the street in Inglewood, 5 public schools got shut down because they're trying to prioritize making it more profitable for the capitalists with SoFi Stadium and trying to make it more profitable for when the Olympics come in. And they don't care about children, whether here in LA, in Inglewood, or in Iran, with children being murdered. Shame. And we need to make that abundantly clear and really continue to connect these dots so that those of us who showed up for this, we continue to show up and bring more and more people into the fold so that we bring this movement to not just the movement of hundreds, not just the movement of thousands, but bringing up to a movement of millions of people in the U.S. Are we ready for that? With that, I want to invite our last speaker on the program. Please give it up for Amari, an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation. Give it up! No boots on the ground, no bombs in the air! U.S. out of everywhere! No boots on the ground, no bombs in the air! U.S. out of everywhere! U.S. out of everywhere!
operation in Iran. But we will not let him do that. So that means each and every one of you, and not just each and every one of you, but all of your friends, your family members, your co-workers, your peers, your classmates, we all need to be back in the streets this Saturday for the National Day of Action. Who's going to be there? We need to stay in the streets so that the U.S., the Trump administration, cannot ignore our calls for no war on Iran! 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 No war on Iran!
No more blood for oil! Hands off Iran soil! No more blood for oil! Hands off Iran soil! 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 That's right, make some noise for our last speaker just then, Amari from the Party for Socialism and Liberation. Friends, we stand together. We stand united in rejecting this illegal war of aggression, this war of choice by the white supremacists, by the racist Donald Trump. We stand against this war in the same way we stand against war on Venezuela, the same way we stand against the war on immigrants, the same way we stand against the war on Black America, the same way we stand against the war on Cuba. Day after day, this government does not only harm Americans, it harms people around the world. We in the belly of the beast have a duty to bring that to light, to talk to our communities, to build this movement. Because guess what? The politicians are not going to do it for us. We, the masses, have to come together and build this movement. Because we, the working class people, all of us who go to work for a living, unlike Donald Trump, unlike Jeff Bezos, unlike the oil CEOs, we work hard for a living. And their tax dollars get taken from us in order to fund endless war, in order to fund genocides around the world, and in order to fund federal agents who then come back and kill us and kidnap our communities. And what I want to say is this is a war on the people with many different fronts, but we are fighting an important front right here. In this movement, look around, see how many people have come together who have said that enough is enough, that no more blood for oil is the slogan that we need to move forward, because guess what? None of us have stocks in oil companies. None of us have stocks in weapons manufacturers. Those are the people who are celebrating today. It's the people who profit and who benefit from war and destruction. And that's what I want to say, is I think all of us should be outraged that anyone would celebrate the bombing, the savage, merciless, and illegal bombing of another country. It's a shame that anyone would celebrate it, but we are building an even more powerful anti-war movement that can stop this madness once and for all. And what I want to tell you is we have a big task ahead of us. We see that this government and its allies like Israel will stop at nothing to bring the entire world under their boot. They will stop at nothing in order to bring the entire world under U.S. domination, under U.S. economic control. But that's not going to happen because the people of the world outnumber the billionaires. And we see that each and every time they need to invent a reason to bomb a country and to convince people that you should not stand against the war. We saw the lies about the weapons of mass destruction in 2003, country to be heartless and cold and savage enough to use those bombs on another people. In fact, using those bombs, testing them across the United States, poisoning the rivers, poisoning the communities, and poisoning the world with its nuclear testing. And this is a big task that we have ahead of us. The U.S. war machine, Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio, they think they can walk around the world and claim it as their own. But they have another thing coming. They have another thing coming because the people believe something different. The people understand we all bleed the same. We all share this planet, and we should all share in its wealth. We don't believe a few billionaires should run the entire world. We don't think there should be any trillionaires. We don't think there should be any billionaires. We want each and every person to be fed, to be educated, to be clothed, to be sheltered. That is much more important than anyone having a yacht, than having 5 vacation homes. We want peace, we want justice, and we want dignity for our people. And I want to tell you something. They're going to call you crazy. Whether it's Donald Trump or some of the mainstream media, they're going to attack the anti-war. Same thing during the Iraq invasion. They said, if you stand against this war, you stand for Saddam Hussein. That was the lie that they told. And look now, the devastation of millions of people's lives. When we look back, we say, obviously, that was a war built on lies. We need it to be obvious and clear to everyone that we talk to that this is another war based on lies and that we don't need to expand this war in order to learn that. So each of us has an educational duty to talk to our communities, to level with people, to connect what they care about to this struggle. Because they are all connected. They've killed hundreds of people in Iran. In fact, thousands, perhaps millions through the sanctions. The endless sanctions, the endless sabotage. So we say no to war, and we say no to the endless sanctions. We say no more U.S. sanctions, whether it's on Cuba, Venezuela, or Iran, or anywhere around the world. On Saturday, someone asked, they said, why are we talking about so many different issues? Why don't we focus on one thing? But I think it's clear to each and every one of us. When I see this crowd, I see that we are united because we stand for justice. And that takes many forms. They told Dr. King the same thing. They told him, stick to civil rights. Don't talk about the war in Vietnam. And they're going to tell you the same thing. Stick to local issues. Stick to national issues. Don't worry about what your country does around the world. But we reject that as another lie of imperialism. So what I want you to understand is when they call you crazy, when they say that you're defending a negative regime, when they say that you are standing against America's interests, I want you to understand that stopping this war is in the interest of the people of the United States and the people of the world. I think it's clear we are united in the struggle and we are not going to let anyone deter us. We're going to keep this movement moving. We're going to move it forward and we're going to stop this war. Do you believe that? Do you believe we have the power to do that? And like one of our speakers asked earlier, are you ready to commit to coming out again? Are you going to bring friends, neighbors, co-workers, whoever you have to bring? We appreciate each and every person who has come out today. We appreciate the wonderful speakers. Give a round of applause one more time for the speakers. We appreciate the journalists who decided to show this protest because we need the people to see this protest. We appreciate the people around the world who are sacrificing everything to put up a stand against U.S. imperialism. And I believe that we can win this struggle, but we have to continue, we have to stay persistent, and we have to stay determined. We want to see all of you on March 7th, this Saturday. We're coming back, and we are saying no war with Iran. Let me hear you say no war with Iran. Let me hear you say no blood for oil. Let me hear you say everything for it. And if we stand together, there's nothing we can't accomplish, folks. Let me say, no more blood for oil. No more blood for oil. Hands off Iran soil. Hands off Iran soil. No more blood for oil. No more blood for oil. Hands off Iran soil. Hands off Iran soil. No more blood for oil. No more blood for oil. Hands off Iran soil. Hands off Iran soil. No more blood for oil. No more blood for oil. Hands off Iran soil. Hands off Iran soil. So what I want you to do as we end today's program is talk to your neighbors, talk to an organizer today, talk to somebody, get involved, join an organization. My name is Cameron with the Party for Socialism and Liberation. I'd be happy to talk to anybody who is moved by the message you heard today, anybody who wants to join something bigger than oneself, anyone who believes that that better future is possible. Come talk to an organizer and get involved, because we can do this only together. So folks, stay courageous, stay brave, continue to educate, continue to talk to people, and make sure that you come out on Saturday, March 7th. Tell your friends, post on social media, and we will see you again. Stay in the struggle.
Gracias por tu like, Ale Salazar. Ah, puedes escribir aunque sea letra, cualquier cosa para ver si se está escribiendo. Hola, Ale, gracias por los corazoncitos, por el like. Esa fue una manifestación para parar la guerra. Hola, Ale. Ah, pues sí, se puede escribir. Es que esta cuenta es nueva. Me la otra, más de 5.000 personas me reportaron y el TikTok solo me mandó diciendo que está reportado más de con 5.740 y pico de personas y te vamos a suspender la cuenta y en los 5 minutos ¡pum! Ya no tenía nada. Ah, sí, esta es una manifestación acerca de lo que es en contra de la guerra de Irán, que se están robando el petróleo crudo, y están que no quieren que pase lo mismo con Venezuela. Ah, sí, me mandó una nota en TikTok diciendo que tenía 5.740 y pico de personas que me habían reportado la cuenta, que estaba violando sus derechos personales y cosas así. Y solo me dijeron, puedes bajar tus videos importantes porque te vamos a suspender la cuenta. Y ni siquiera me dieron chance de bajar casi nada. Y la suspendieron. Pero ya hice esta. No me dejaban poner el nombre, pero ya la puse. O sea, siempre puse pirata. Esto es lo único que le puse una rayita abajo porque no me dejaba poner el nombre anterior. Esta protesta es de organizaciones. Participaron 3 organizaciones, ah, del Partido Comunista. ah, el otro es de palestinos, de iraníes, que están protestando, que quieren que paren la guerra y estaban diciendo de que siempre están publicando, o sea, una propaganda contra Irán, que Irán es el enemigo número uno de Estados Unidos y eso es mentira. No quieren que le vayan a hacer algo a los que están acá solo por la propaganda diciendo que son enemigos número uno. Pero ah, lo que quería escuchar era acerca de la Ayatollah, pero no mencionaron nada, si está vivo o está muerto. Aunque en otras partes estaban celebrando cuando dijeron que lo habían normandeado. El, solo medio, casi hay noticias que salen en TikTok que son mentiras. O sea, son gente que a veces, oh, sí, aquí es el centro de Los Ángeles, la alcaldía, está enfrente de la alcaldía ahorita. Esta es la alcaldía de Los Ángeles. Ha sido una manifestación pacífica, no hay pinta, nada de desorden. Bueno, es que la mayoría son iraníes y palestinos. Esta gente casi no hace mucho desorden, pero lastimosamente los mestizos afroasiáticos, eso sí les gusta hacer algo de desorden, pero por eso se cambian las cosas. Y lastimosamente la idiosincrasia de la gente no deja, no deja progresar. Ah, ayer pues estaba en un chat, pero no era el mío, y solo entré y ya me estaban criticando. Es la mente de la gente. Y se ha puesto ahí 503, supuestamente salvadoreño o salvadoreña, no sé quién es, pero se ha puesto o un nombre que dice mujer sin corazón o algo así, y allí difamándome. Y tiene como 25,000 personas que la siguen o lo que será. ¿Para qué buscando más fama anda? Yo con 50 personas que tengo suficiente. Aunque Lazo me está ayudando, me dice, hey, síganlo, pero ah, con, solo contigo que me escuché es suficiente. El, Te voy a mostrar otra vez aquí la fantástica vista de noche, parece el Capitolio de Washington, D.C. Así se mira de noche allá, pero, pero aquel se mira más bonito. Adentro, si no, Ale, nunca has ido al Capitolio. Si vas al Capitolio, puedes entrar. Ah, Antes era gratuita la entrada, pero en la cúpula, al estar adentro, en el centro, en la cúpula, está la escritura de mi civilización. Aunque ya no nos quieren respetar, porque ya somos pocos. Y, y como por ahí decía un rótulo, en tierra robada nadie es ilegal. Y a los que nos robaron la tierra, ¿qué somos? No nos respetan ni nada por el estilo, nos quieren cambiar y nos dicen un montón de cosas. En el, en la cúpula donde está el Capitolio, otra cosa ahí, hay muchos cuadros que son nuevos, hace unos 150 años que lo hicieron, pero están remodelados y ahí está bastante la historia, la verdadera historia que, que no cuentan, pero está solamente en dibujos. A mí me sacaron del Capitolio una vez porque me puse a estarlo explicando. No me metieron preso, solo me dijeron que no estuviera diciendo eso y le dije, ¿por qué no? La gente me preguntó y les estoy explicando. Pero fíjate que en el Capitolio se entra a una especie de sótano, no están sótanos, pero así a lo largo, ahí vas a encontrar todos los líderes desde el principio que vinieron, todos, y no se llamaban. Sí, que no estuviera diciendo la verdad, porque ahí están los cuadros exactamente, y hay muchas cosas que tengo que regresar, pero en aquel tiempo, en los 80, no tenía cámara digital. Todas aquellas fotos las perdí, eran fotos así de negativos, y durante todo el tiempo, como me han dado moviendo para arriba y para abajo, ya no pude recuperar tantas cosas, pero tengo que regresar. Solo estoy esperando que baje un poco la nieve, porque ahora supuestamente iba a nevar en West Virginia, todo eso. Esperaban un poco, ya se está calmando, pero quiero ir a recuperar un montón de cosas. En Canadá también, en el castillo de gobierno que tienen en Ottawa, ahí hay bastante historia. Ellos la tienen allá. Una vez un canadiense me dice, ah, ¿qué pasó con la Pocahontas? No, la Pocahontas es una historia inventada por los europeos, ¿no?, que tenían que inventar una historia. Aquí en Canadá, en Estados Unidos le pusieron Pocahontas. En México le pusieron la Malinche. En Centroamérica, la Ciguanaba. O, y allá ¿cómo se llama? En Sudamérica, se me fue el nombre, la Cholita, algo así le pusieron allá. O sea, pero es la misma historia. Es como, me va a salir del vocal, pero ¿cómo se llama? La Biblia es la misma Biblia que el Corán, lo mismo, lo único que cambia es el nombre. el nombre y, y unas cuantas palabritas para cambiar, para que no parezca. El Popol Vuh, ¿has escuchado el Popol Vuh que dicen que era la Biblia de mi civilización? Pero no dicen, dicen de los indios, del Perú, de los incas. Esa es mentira. Ese libro fue hecho por un, se llama, incluso él se había puesto el indio, está haciendo algo de frío aquí, me está olvidando todo. El Alzheimer. No, no es el Alzheimer, lo que pasa es que no venía preparado para estar contando eso y ahí andábamos haciendo motos, una motocicletitas, están los tipos que, estos son los que hacen revoltijo también. Ya dejaron apestoso aquí a pura gasolina quemada con aceite. Pero lo que te decía de que todo eso del Popol Vuh, si lo lees, es lo mismo que dice la Biblia, exactamente. Lo único que se le cambia unas cuantas palabritas, le cambian los dibujitos, pero es en la misma línea, el mismo guión. Es como las novelas. Cuando estaba chiquito, allá por los 60 y pico, salió una novela que se llamaba Rubí. Después le pusieron otro nombre y así hasta ahora, hasta que llegó hasta el Betty la Fea. Y hasta ahora los gringos ya copiaron, le hicieron una copia de la Betty la Fea, porque lo que le busca a ellos es hacer comercialización, puro comercio. Y por allá me pusieron una gran luz ahorita. Pero creo que ese es de los por acá. Hola, hola Maribel López, ¿qué tal? Mucho gusto, gracias. Pues sí, Ale, acá, allá se mira el centro, pero ya lo pusieron un gran farol para acá. Quiero ver qué edificio, bueno, esos edificios que se miran al fondo son nuevos edificios de condominio. Buenas noches, Maribel. Maribel Guardia. Ah, no, no, perdón. Ah, también, hola Helen Vázquez, ¿qué tal? Muy buenas tardes, noches. Digo, aquí ya es de noche, ya está oscurito. Aquí en Los Ángeles ahorita está bien bonito. Ah, Helen, no, no cambié la página, estaba explicando. Es que más de casi 6.000 personas me quieren mucho que me reportaron con TikTok diciendo que yo decía cosas que violaban los reglamentos de los reglamentos de aquí del TikTok. Y el TikTok me suspendió la cuenta esa. Me dolió porque ya de repente de la noche a la mañana llegué hasta 70.000 seguidores. Ahorita ya solo tengo como 50. Ahora me cayeron y entonces ahora puedo ya publicar en vivo. Pero no, no cambié la página, me la suspendieron. Ya no lloro porque ya se me secaron todas las lágrimas. De tanto llorar perdí la. Bueno, no era, aunque ya el TikTok ya era esta es la segunda vez que me suspendía. Así que ahora voy a tratar de portarme bien para que no me suspendan esta. Me costó llegar a los 50, pero aquí estoy ahorita. Ahora estoy tratando de recuperar bastantes archivos que se perdieron, porque lo que quiero es que esto quede en la historia, lo que están viendo, lo que pasa. Aunque hay personas que dicen que esto no es historia, pero sí es la historia. Sí, gracias Helen, muchas gracias. El, Quiero ver, gracias por seguirme, ya te voy a seguir. Es que aquí no me sale para seguir, si pongo me voy a salir del aire. Estaba explicando que así como se mira Blanquito, se mira el Capitolio, le estaba diciendo a Ale. Y sería bonito que fueran a darse una vuelta al Capitolio ahorita que se puede visitar, porque ahí adentro hay mucha historia que no la cuentan. Hay mucha gente, muchas estatuas allá de los primeros que vinieron y cómo hicieron las cosas, quiénes fueron verdaderamente, gente que no la sacan en la historia solo para no, para que la gente no vea la realidad, para que la gente no vea el verdadero valor de la historia, porque cuando ustedes sepan, le van a reclamar al gobierno. Bueno, siempre le he dicho a la gente que lean todos los libros de historia, claro, los buenos, no, no los del TikTok, los de YouTube, porque hay muchos que ponen cosas que no tienen que ser. O sea, hay bastante gente, ahí ya saben, bien alarmistas. Acaban de sacar del edificio más grande, se me olvidó el nombre del Dubai, que fue destruido por un misil, pura, pura animación fotográfica, pero para la gente que no sabe, se lo traga. Así como ahorita que lastimosamente un amigo, él es youtubero y está publicando unos videos que son de animación artificial, o sea, animados, diciendo de que destruyeron varias cosas y eso es mentira. Él se echa de ver, hay que tener buen ojo. Bueno, ni tanto, pero sí, cuando miren una noticia de que algo destruye, no solo miren el centro, miren alrededor. Si se, si no se mira bien afuera o atrás, o a veces que las personas se están moviendo adelante y las de atrás no se mueven para nada. Oh, oh, una- un rompecabezas me puso aquí el TikTok, solo quiero ponerlo bien para que no diga que soy robot. Ok, aquí está. Pues para reconocer que si es o sea, animación, vean alrededor, vean, así como la gente que ahora baila con ganas, solo ponen la foto y se ponen a bailar, vean la cabeza, el cuello, cómo se mueve. A veces parece que se le va a quebrar el cuello. Así que ahí pueden ver la diferencia entre la realidad y lo falso. Les decía a Ale de que no se crean las noticias que dan en los tiktokeros, porque esos siempre salen, salen alarmando a la gente. O como, bueno, no me quería meter en eso de, esta es la Ayatollah Khomeini, pero no me no alcancé a ver lo que decía. El, quiero ver, oh, está en iraní lo que dice abajo, pero creo que lo están celebrando de que se murió, porque tiene, está como si estuviera en el cielo. Ah, no sé si ellos lo apoyan, pero, pero lo que sí dijeron de que no que Irán no es enemigo número uno, aquí anda el Capitán América. Ya no sé quién está haciendo aquí, pero nos va a defender. El Capitán América es como si fuera el Chapulín Colorado. Son las traducciones que hacen de los medios de comunicación. Y dice, otra cosa que decían, que los iraníes están en contra del genocidio que estaban haciendo contra ellos, de parte de los gringos y de los israelitas. Eso fue lo que se trató ahora de esta protesta. Después voy a subir todo el pedacito o algo así. Lo que me gusta acá es que el ritmo cuando cantan las protestas. Yo no entiendo, pero cuando cantan en árabe, digo en iraní o en palestino, se escucha bonito el ritmo. Ah, hice un videíto acerca de la historia de lo que es la, el, ¿cómo se llama? La, la construcción, que fue en el año 1876, el, cuando se fundó legalmente la ciudad de Los Ángeles. Y aquí son, pues hay 20 banderas, pero se me olvidó por qué hay 20 banderas. Pero lo que sí les voy a decir, allá al fondo se mira una banderita negra. Esa banderita negra, entonces son los 20 condados de California. Mira, aquella banderita negra que está allá apenas se mira, pero si vienen, eso significa de los que fueron capturados en la guerra, especialmente en la del Vietnam, de los prisioneros de guerra. Y, y si salen allá a ver el cielo, ahora está bien. Si están en California, pues pueden salir a ver. Dijeron que desde el sábado pasado iba a haber una conjunción, o sea, una alineación de todos los planetas. Ese planeta que está, no se mira, no se mira. Es la estrella más blanca, es, es como se llama ese planeta, Neptuno. Me equivoqué aquí está. Y más para allá van a ver un punto rojo, pero aquí no se mira. Ese es Marte. Luego hay uno azul, ese es Urano. Y por allá se mira uno casi amarillito, blanco. Ese es el fantástico Mercurio. Tengo un telescopio, pero no le tengo que comprar uno para mostrárselos. O sea, uno de los que se le puede poner el celular. Este que tengo, no, se puede poner, pero no haciendo improvisación. O sea, teniendo el estilo, solo así para que se esté viendo. Allá está la Ayatollah Khomeini. Ese es ese es el Ayatollah, pero está en iraní. Si está así es porque creo que lo están pensando que así se murió. El, es una gran lucha. Gracias por estar viendo. Gracias, Ali. El, mañana voy a subir esto, todo lo que pasó acá. Bueno, lo más importante. Y, y por allá están sonando los tambores. Pero esa luz me quita el focus. Bien. Mañana les voy a hablar más de algo de la historia que no conocen. No voy a pasar desvelándome toda la noche para hacer algo, para querer recuperar y no meterme más en problemas con TikTok. Ya YouTube casi no me gusta porque no se puede hablar. Y puse YouTube también como que me lo han suspendido porque el viernes pasado hubo una manifestación aquí, la estuve grabando en vivo y no se grabó, o sea, en YouTube. Y, y aquí pues hasta ahorita puedo. Gracias por ver, me voy a retirar ahora y mañana me pongo más. El otro sábado, estaba diciendo aquí, el marzo 7, el próximo sábado, van a hacer otra reunión. Hoy vinieron un poquito más, a ver si vienen más el próximo sábado. Muchas gracias a Maribel, Helen y a todos los que están por acá. Ahí les veo despuesito. Gracias.